Hello everyone, I hope you're staying safe as always. My name is Rainy and I'm from class 3.1, and for today I'm going to talk about A Letter from Thailand. It is a novel written by Bhutan. I'll be focusing on one topic that talks about business management and regarding business and stuff issues. So before I start, I have to let you all know that I am not an expert on this topic. And during this presentation, there might be some, error technical such as videos, quality, or sound errors, something like that. But I hope you don't mind and let us enjoy this presentation together. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, first I'm gonna show you the content that I'll be talking about today. The first one is the summary of the story. The second point is the summary of the whole story related to the topic theme regarding to business and staff issues, which there'll be some point that talks about summary main theme from the text and from the document and also the solution. The third point is research study related to business management. Here you're going to learn about the interviewer's background, interviewer's real experience regarding to business management. And then the last part, I'm going to talk about the comparison between real life experience and on the study text. So you will learn about similarities and differences. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the first part, summary of the story. This is a novel that is written by Bhutan. It is called Letters from Thailand. This story talks about a Chinese man who immigrates from his own country, China, and moved to Thailand in order to find a better fortune. He then met Nguyen Thong and started working for him for a while, and then he got married to Nguyen Thong's daughter, and then they had children, and he started his own business there. And this letter was supposed to, he has been writing that letter for almost 20 years. He write this letter in order to reach his mother in China, but that letter never reached his mother anyway. So yeah, and also in this letter you will also learn about Sang-woo views on Thai societies and its people as well. So that is it. Moving on to the second point, we will talk about the summary of the whole story relating to the topic or theme regarding business and staff issues. And this is from the study text. I have a list of few points. So the first point is how Nguyen Thong managed his business and stuff. As we know, Nguyen Thong has his own business. He sells import food from China, and then he sells it to all retailers all over Bangkok. And he managed his staff by letting them have 2 days off a week, and at the end of the year he gave him a 1 month pay as a bonus for their hard work. And then the second point is Ang Bui's ability on running her father's business and dealing with the staff. As we all know, in the story, Nguyen Thong got sick, and then he handed over his business to his daughter, Ang Bui. At first, Ang Bui found it a bit difficult to, run a business on her own because she is never used to all of that. And on her first day, she also was abused by saying, he did not want to do what he was told to do because he doesn't like for the fact that Ang Bui is the boss now. So yeah, they had some argument, and then Sang somehow wanted to revenge on her, but luckily Sang Yu was there, so Sang Yu helped comfort employees until she becomes better and continue to run her business again. And then the next point is Sang-yu's difficulties while running his shop. At first, Nguyen Thong was worried about handing his old customer to Sang-yu because Sang-yu is very new to business field and he has lack experience on business field as well. But then he became better. He became better in his job as well. Also, there are some difficulties that he faced with his employees' behavior as well. In the text page, on page 159, he talked about how difficult his staff behaviors was toward each other, how disloyal they were, and how irresponsible they were on their jobs. Yeah, and then for the next point is dealing with customer. Each and every day, there's always new customer in Sang-yu's shop, and he has to face almost every day with different kinds of customers. Some are good, but some can be very difficult because the one that always like to bargain, the one that likes to complain and about the price and owning goods without trying to pay back, it is pretty difficult for his business. But sometimes Sang-yu learned that it's okay to say no to some customer, for some unnecessary things as well. Okay, and then for the next point is lazy and irresponsible employees. Sang-yu also mentioned about how irresponsible Thai workers are, the laziness and their dishonesty and lack of ambition. They take any chance to escape from doing their jobs. Sang-yu think it's enough to take 1 hour rest and then you can get to sleep at night more. And yes, these are some difficulties that he faced on the employees as well. And then the last point is the conflict between employees. So in the story, a 10-year-old girl, she's Thai, she got into an argument with Wang Kim. She called him names, telling him to go back to his country and so on, which really hurt Sang-yu's heart. But then he managed to control the fight correctly. He called his son and give him some advice and explain the situation, keep him motivated to do his job as a boss. Okay, that is it. So we will move on to the summary, the main theme from the document. I've read some document related to business management, and these are the points that I've come up with. The first one is, what is a good manager? A good manager is a manager that knows how to address employees with difficult attitudes and deal with them correctly. First, he or she needs to understand why is that employee acting this way, why is his behavior become this way. They have to understand the roots, what happened, why it happened, and how it happened. The manager needs to also help support employees and keep them motivated so that they could change. And at the end, the manager needs to give some feedback and advice and make sure that difficult employees are willing to change. And if they do not want to change, then you have to come up with different strategies. Okay? And then the next point is how to manage business. I pretty much mentioned a bit in the first point, but here are some more points that you can learn how to manage business. You can provide your employees more clear information. The more clear information you give them, the better work they could do. Also, you should provide them some training course so that they can learn beforehand, so that they have more knowledge about your business as well. And also keep in mind that you have to be closer to your employees in order to run your business smoothly, and also be smart as well. And the last point is how to deal with difficult employees. As a manager, you need to find the roots of their behaviors. Like I mentioned at the first point, bad attitude is not a small problem, since it can cause a really big distraction in your business field. So find the roots and try to communicate with the employees. Talk to them face to face if you need to. Give them some warnings, and do not ignore the problems. You have to solve the problem right away, and try to always communicate with your employees. That is it for this point, so we'll move on to the next point. Okay, number 3, solutions. Every problem has its solutions. So I have come up with a few solutions that you could use to solve problems in business management. First of all, you have to try to understand your employee situation. Sometimes employees are scared to talk to you, face to face, or they are unsure if they should talk to you or not. So take your time, try to understand them, try to let them explain to you what's the cause, why is it happening, and so on. And the next point is be the best manager. Being a manager is a stressful job you could ever have, but keep in mind you have to try your best, be the best you can be. Talk to your employees, give them some good time to rest, and always try to solve problems with your employees. The next point is be respectful and be patient. Like I mentioned earlier, being manager is not easy, so keep in mind that you have to be respectful to your employees as well. If you want to be respectful, you have to respect your employees as well. Also be patient. If there's any problem in your business or in your company, be patient. Try to solve it. Try to solve the problem as however you could. And then the next point is do some research on the market. You have to find the price on the market. Do some research. Try to find out what is going on out there in the market, so that your business could run very well and smoothly without losing your profit a lot. So if you want to gain more profit, please do some research on the market. And for the next point is to find your weakness and your strength. It's so important for employees or managers to know your weakness. In order to know your strength, you have to find your weakness. What are you not good about? What are the struggles? Find that and then try to solve it. And also don't forget about your strength. Sometimes you gotta know your strength in order to keep you going, keep you proud. I'm good at this, so I'm gonna continue doing that. And then the last point is improvement. Always try and improve yourself. Improve everything around you. There's no bad or there's no good or wrong in improvement. It's always going up. Try to keep up what you're doing. Then I'm sure the solution or any problem will will be solved if you keep improving yourself. Okay, that is it. So moving on to our next point, which is research study related to business management. Here I'm going to talk about the interviewer's background. Our interviewee is a Chinese man who was born in Cambodia in 1972. Both his parents are Chinese who had immigrated from the mainland China since 1958. He has 4 siblings and he is a second child of the family. His father was killed during Khmer Rouge at Kanda province, and at the end of Khmer Rouge, his grandmother worked as a pharmacist in order to provide the whole family. When he turned 11 years old, he needed to find a job to fend for himself, so he decided to work for his uncle in Bat Dambong as a coolie sawmill. 5 years later, he moved to work in Posat at his uncle and decided to open his business there. He got married at the age of 22 to a Chinese Cambodian woman. He still worked as a coolie sawmill after he got married. But after saving enough money, he decided to open his own small business shop, which was selling food and beers. It was a real difficult time for him as the shop wasn't going very well. There were many customers, and some customers didn't have any money to buy the stuff, so they had to owe the goods, and they never actually really paid back. Only 4 years his shop had gone bankrupt because it didn't give him any profit at all. So not long after that, he started his own business again by borrowing the money from a bank, since all his money was in his old shop. This time, he opened a mechanized shop selling machinery and bearings. It made a good profit since here in Posat many people are farmers. His shop was doing very well. He was able to pay his debt and decorate his shop bigger. Until now, the shop is doing well, but there are some problems that he's facing right now because of COVID-19. And that is it. Moving on to the next point. We will be talking about interviewers' real-life experience related to business management and staff issues. So the first question was how to maintain your customer. To maintain your customer, you have to have good service. You have to treat your customer with respect. For example, smile to your customer or say thank you to them whenever they purchase any items or any goods. More importantly, use the word that they wanted to hear. That is the way to encourage your client to buy goods in your shop rather than going to somewhere else. And then selling good with reasonable price. Clients or customers love to buy a product that is cheap but with good quality. They love it. So keep in mind, try to sell good with a reasonable price. Also, the employee is also important to maintain our customers. So simply put, any appreciated employee in the service. If they are happily serving their customer, it will make the customer feel warm. And when they need to buy your stuff, your shop will always be the first choice in their mind. Decoration is also the key to help improve your customer. There aren't much customer who fond of buying goods in shop if the shop is dirty or a lack of decoration. So try to update your shop as possible. And then the next question is how to keep your staff motivated with their work. There could be difficulties, controlling your employees, but being supportive to your employees is the most important thing you could do. As employer, we will have to work closely together with our employees so that we could understand where our employees' weaknesses in this business field, and instead of blaming them or yelling at them, we need to explain them and try to encourage them to work harder for you. Also, you have to appreciate your employees productive by giving them rewards. As give them some bonus at the end of the year, or give them some little tips for their hard work and so on. Don't treat your employees as your slavery. It is very important to respect each other, no matter what business you're in. It's very important to respect one another. So treat them as they're your friend, but you have to let them know their limits as well. Also, your employees will appreciate you more if you're humble, if you're respectful, and if you're patient. It encourages them to work harder for you. And the next point, employer need to notice the difference between each employees, like how to motivate them in different things. Employees to work in an area that they find interesting instead of trying to force them to do the things that they are not skillful at. So in order to keep your business going on. Okay, then moving on. How to deal with bad-tempered customer. In every business, you will have to face this problem. It's very common, so don't worry. Keep calm. That's the first thing you have to do. Keep calm and take a deep breath before dealing with their complaints. Customers are very hard to deal with sometimes since they like to complain, they like to bargain, but keep in mind, your customer is like your God, so keep calm, take a deep breath, and respond to your clients politely, even if they do not deserve it. Find out the reason behind his or her behavior towards you. There might be a problem that you need to solve regarding to your product. You have to take time, listen to their problem, and try to find the source of it. Try to understand the reason behind it. Unless your client is naturally rude, then I think it's best you leave them alone. Also, politely apologize to the customer with respect, even though the customer do not deserve it. This is a very important step in every business field. Sometimes you think that it is very difficult to deal with rude customer, but keep in mind, more customer, more money. So just apologize them. Even if you think you can't do it, just do it. And then the next point is to stand for your ground if customer try to stand all over you. We can be firm to our customer if they're being unreasonable sometimes. Just stand on your ground for them. And next one is, what is the struggle when you first set up your business? There are a lot, due to our interviews experience, there are a lot of struggle that he has faced. First is goods become expired due to lack of customers. Sometimes you cannot afford even one customer, so all those goods that is in your shop started to become expired, and it is a big problem for your business as well. The next point is all the responsibilities on you. When you run a shop on your own or a business on your own, you have bigger responsibilities, and no one would be there for you except for yourself. So you have a very big responsibility in that field. Then the next point is not much knowledge about prices on the market. If you don't have much knowledge about the price on the market, it will be difficult for you to make big profit or to earn a lot of profit, since you are lack of knowledge about the price on the market. So try to understand the price of the market outside. And then customers owing good. It is very common in businesses that customer owing goods or customer that is on credit. So these are the struggles that every company or every business are facing. Then the struggles on choosing what to sell. Sometimes it's very difficult to choose what to sell. What is your customers need, or what do they want? It's very hard to decide all that. Facing lots of competitors who has experience in the business field. It's very common when you run a business, there will always be a competitor, so be aware of that. Low profit means struggle to pay taxes. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult when you can sell your goods in the point where you want it to be, so your profit is a bit low, and that leads to the struggle that you have to face in paying tax as well. Yes, and moving on. What are the cause of your staff low performance in their work? Here, according to the interviewers, there might be more than two, but I'll only take two of them. First of all is lack of knowledge of employees in their work fields. When your employees are lack of knowledge in what they're doing, it is hard to keep your business running, and this is the cause for their low performance as well. And lack of communication between their colleague. Sometimes when you cannot communicate with your colleague, or you don't want to communicate with your colleague, it would be a bit difficult for your performance as well. It could cause some problems on your performance as well. Okay? Next point. Other staff assigned to do individual work based on what they are good at, or they assigned to do it by requirements. The employee are assigned to do individual work based on what they are good at. By doing so, they will have better performance rather than being assigned to do things that is not their skill, or that's not what they're. And that was the last point of our interviewers' real life experience. So moving on to our last part of the topic, which is the comparison between real life experience and the study text. Here I have found few similarities and differences, but now I'm gonna talk about the similarity first. The first one is the way we treat our staff. In reality, it is very common that employers treat their staff based on their performance. So if the staff is being lazy, being irresponsible, and not doing the job well, then of course the employers are not happy with that. And if they are working hard, if they're doing their job well, then of course, like I mentioned, employees will be happy with their performance. In the text, Sang Woo was not happy sometimes when his staff was being lazy, being irresponsible, being dishonest towards their job. But when his staff works hard, when the staff are doing their job right, he gives them bonus, he pay them higher salary, and so on. And the second point is paying salary based on their performance. A lot of companies, a lot of employers choose to pay the salary based on their employees' productivities or performance. If the employees are not working hard or not being responsible for their jobs, then they tend to get paid lower salary. But if they do work hard or they helps you in earning profits, and I'm sure that every employers would love to pay you in higher salary as well. Like I mentioned earlier in the text, Sang-il pay his staff based on their performance as well. If his employees work hard, then he would pay them much salary as well. Then the next point is ways of dealing with bad-tempered customer. In this situation, in reality, I'm sure all the employers know the key to deal with this kind of customer is patience. You have to have patience in order to deal with this kind of stuff, or this kind of customer, bad-tempered customer, of course. If you can't handle their attitude or their behavior, then it might end up you losing your customer, and you might not make any profit for them. Do not expect them to always be nice or be gentle to you or to your employees. There's always going to be a bad tempered customer, but it is up to you how you deal with those kind of customer. So remember to always be patient, to be respectful as always. Respect your customer. Think of them as your God, because they bring you money. And also in the story is the same thing. Sang-woo also tried to deal with a lot of bad tempered customer, and sometimes he say no, sometimes he say yes to this kind of customer. Sometimes he tries to find solutions, try to solve it with no conflict or anything. And for the last point is being biased toward our staff based on their performance. I think this part is a bit similar to the part where we pay salary based on performance, but it is true that every employers love to see when their staff is being responsible, being dedicated to work hard for the company or for the shop. So if the customer is, if the employees are being lazy or not taking care of their job well, then no employers are happy about that. And that is it for the similarities. And I have found two differences. Our team have found two differences according to real life experience and from the study text. The first point is we cannot judge our staff based on their nationality and appearance. In the story, Sang Yu compared how Chinese worker works harder than Thai workers. I don't think it is true at all. You can get a very good business Chinese man to work, or better, but of course you can get a better Khmer worker that would work harder, would work twice harder than the Chinese worker. It is more on their dedication, more on their personalities than their nationality or appearance. Appearance is just a part of your work, but it does not define your personalities or how hard you work. And for the last point is employees tend to look for more benefits rather than their skill. I think it is true, because no one wants to work in a position that you cannot earn a lot of money. So for example, if you study as to become a teacher, but then you find becoming a businesswoman would earn more money, of course you would abandon your skill as a teacher and choose to work as businesswoman selling online products that could benefit, that could make profit, that you could make a profit from it. So I think this is the difference that I have found in real life experience and from the study text. And that is it for my presentation. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have learned few things from my presentation. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.